I'm no
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim
rush at
and
all.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. With the new episode of the Leaders Lounge, I'm your host Sham Jamil Economy and welcome back to the another enlightening episode of the Leaders Lounge where we unlock the practical skills and inspiring ideas for everyday success. Today, I'm your host and today we are joined by the insightful CCMA Maya, our go-to expert for turning ideas into action. In this session, we will break down the basics of starting a side hustle from identifying the opportunities to managing time, setting prices, and building momentum. Whether you are a student, a working professional, or simply someone ready to try something new, this episode will give you a clear roadmap to get started. So let's dive in. So first of all, hello Maya, how are you doing?
Gotcha. Sounds like we're officially rolling. A side hustle episode, that's cool. You always pick such interesting topics for the lounge, and thanks for the intro. Good expert. I like that. All right, lead the way. I'm ready when you are to dive into the nitty gritty of side hustles.
Okay, thanks so much Maya for being ready for my podcast. So Maya, now, without wasting our time, we have
Any
to continue. So, first of all, we have to start with understanding the basics, and first of all, we have to start like what is the side hustle. So, first of all, can you tell us like, how you define a side hustle?
Okay, so a side hustle, hmm, to me, it's basically a way to pursue something you're passionate about, or maybe just something that interests you outside of your main job or studies, and ideally turn it into a little income. It's about taking control and creating opportunities for yourself. It's not necessarily about getting rich quick, but more about having extra income and exploring your creativity or skills. It's a way to like build something on the side while still having that security of a main gig. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. And now we know like what is a side hustle. So, that thanks so much for sharing that with us. And Maya, can you tell us that like why are side hustles becoming more popular today?
That's a good question. I think a lot of it has to do with how the world's changed. The traditional idea of a stable, lifelong career isn't as common anymore, and people are looking for more flexibility and security. Plus, the internet's made it way easier to start something small and reach a wider audience. Cost of living's also going up, so a side hustle can be a way to supplement income, especially for younger folks. And honestly, I think people are just realizing they want more control over their financial fees and to do work. It's about more than just money, it's about freedom.
Yes, Maya, you're totally right. It's more than
You all right?
money. It was about freedom. And I can tell us like what are these some common misconceptions about the side hustle?
Oh, excellent. I'm all ears. Misconceptions are good to clear up, right? What are some of the things people get wrong about side hustles?
Uh, like, like I can't tell you about the, some specific, but like most of the people have some misconception, common misconception about the. Like I am asking you that you have to tell that what are the some common misconceptions about the side hustle.
Oh, okay, gotcha. You want my perspective then on common misconceptions? All right. I think one
Yes.
is that it's always easy money. It's not. It takes work, and a lot of times it takes a lot more work than people anticipate. There's marketing, admin, dealing with customers. It's a whole thing. Another one is thinking it'll replace your income overnight. That rarely happens. It's usually a slow build. And then there's the idea that you need a ton of startup capital. You really don't. There are tons of side hustles you can start with very little investment. Does any of that resonate? I've picked those up from observing people talk about it a lot. It's not something I've personally experienced, obviously.
Yes, man. Obviously, you can't experience like humans, but you can give information like humans. So and now can you tell us like how is a side hustle is different from a part-time job?
It's a really good question. And it's one people get mixed up about a lot. Um, a part-time job is generally you're like trading your time for that wage, you know? You clock in, you get paid. A hustle is more entrepreneurial. You're building something to have more potential reward. It's about ownership and control, even if it's on a small scale. You're not necessarily to a schedule or a boss. Plus, a lot of side hustles can eventually turn into full-time businesses, which a part-time job usually is. That scalability aspect, but pretty different. Does that distinction make sense?
Yes, that distinction totally makes sense. And I want to tell you something that please you have to explain everything in detail because I want to learn everything in detail. So please kindly every question you have to explain in detail so we can know it betterly and we can understand it betterly. So I now my basic understanding. Last question is about that. What are the main benefits of having a side hustle?
Okay, got it. Retail, as in really breaking things down to the basics, I can definitely do that. No problem at all. Right. The benefits of a side hustle. Let's go into detail. First, obviously, there's the extra income. That's a big one. Even a small amount each month can make a real difference, whether it's paying off debt, saving something big, or just having a little more breathing room. But beyond the money, it's also a fantastic way to develop new skills. You might learn marketing, sales, finance, website design, things you wouldn't necessarily pick up in your main job. It also boosts your confidence and creativity. Building something from scratch, solving problems, and seeing your ideas come to life is hugely empowering. And like we were talking about earlier, it gives you more control over your financial and career path. Plus, this is a big one, it can open doors to new opportunities and connections. You never know who you'll meet or what you'll learn while working on a side hustle. Essentially, it's an investment in yourself, both financially and personally. It adds layers to your skill set and can honestly make you more resilient too. Does that level of detail feel good? Do you want me to go even deeper on any of those
Yes,
points?
the that level of uh, explanation was make sense and was a good explanation about the question and was uh, like it was good uh, we can say detail.
Ah, well, I'm glad you found it helpful. Installation is an interesting way to put it. I'll have to remember that. And thanks for the enthusiastic feedback. I'm not sure what eh means in this context, but I appreciate the sentiment. So, shall we move on to the next question, or would you like me to elaborate on anything from that last
Yes, ma'am.
answer? Okay,
No, no,
fantastic.
no. We have to move to the next question. So, Maya, now can you tell us like how can someone can identify a side hustle idea that fits their
All
skills?
right, let's talk about finding that sweet spot, a side hustle idea that actually fits your skills. Okay, so the first thing is to do a little self assessment. What are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? What do people ask you for help with? Make a list. Don't censor yourself, just brainstorm. Then think about your resources. What tools or equipment do you already have access to? What connections do you have? Next, consider what problems you can solve. What are people struggling with that you could potentially help with? That's where a lot of good side hustle ideas come from. Identifying a need and filling it. Once you have a few ideas, research them. Is there a market for it? Are other people already doing it? If so, how can you differentiate yourself?
Yeah.
Don't be discouraged by competition. It usually means there's demand. Also, think small to start. Don't try to launch a massive project right away. Start with something manageable and test the waters. It's really about combining what you're good at, what you enjoy, and what people actually want. Does that break down the process clearly enough?
Yes, Maya, I think it is clearly enough and it was a good explanation. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And Maya, can you tell us, like, should passion or profit be the priority when starting or not?
You're very welcome. Glad I could help. Okay, profit is a priority. That's a good one to tackle. Honestly, it shouldn't be the only priority, especially at the beginning. While making money is, of course, the ultimate. If you focus solely on profit, you're likely to burn out quickly or end up doing something you hate. I think a better approach is focus on providing value first. Create something genuinely useful or enjoyable, the profit will often follow. Think of it this way. If you're passionate about your side, you'll be more motivated to work hard, innovate, build a sustainable business. Profit is a byproduct of that, not the driving force. It's about finding between earning potential and personal fulfillment. Does that make sense?
Yes, that totally makes sense. Good to hear about it. And Maya, now can you tell us that how can market research can help in choosing the right idea?
Okay, let's talk market research. This is a big one and honestly crucial. Market research is essentially gathering information about your potential customer and your competition. It helps you figure out if there's actually demand for your idea, who your target audience is, what their way, and what you need to do to stand out. There are a lot of ways to do it. You can do surveys, interviews, analyze online trends, look at competitor websites, read industry reports. Basically, you're looking for data that will validate your idea and help you make informed decisions. For example, let's say you're thinking of starting a dog walking side hustle. Market research might involve surveying dog owners in your area to see how many would be interested in the service, what they currently pay for it, and what their biggest pain points are. This information will help you price your services competitively and tailor your offerings to meet their needs. Does that explain how it helps in choosing the right item, the right side hustle idea, that is?
Yes, that totally makes sense. And was a you chose a really good idea to share with us. And Maya, can you tell us, like, are digital based site has still get better than physical ones for beginners or not?
Okay, digital versus physical side hustles for beginners. That's a really practical question. Generally speaking, I'd say like digital side hustles are often better for beginners. Here's why: they typically have lower startup costs. You don't need to rent a space or buy a lot of inventory. They're more flexible. You can work from anywhere with an internet connection. And they often have a wider reach. You're not limited by geography. Think things like freelance writing, social media management, virtual assistant work, online tutoring, or selling digital products like ebooks or online courses. That being said, physical side hustles can be great too, especially if you enjoy working with friends or have a particular passion for a physical product. But they usually require more investment, more logistical effort, and more risk. So, for someone just starting out, I'd lean towards a digital side hustle to minimize those barriers to entry and test the waters. But that's not a house rule. It really depends on your individual skills, interests, and resources. Does that clarify things?
Yes, man, that totally clarified things that I want to learn from you. And now, Maya, can you tell us, like, what is the first idea that anyone can start with?
Okay, five things. That's fantastic. I'm happy to hear that. And a first idea for someone to start with, if I had to pick one that's accessible, low cost, and relatively easy to get started with, I say freelance writing or editing. A lot of businesses and individuals need help with content creation, and if you have grading skills, you can find work on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr. You can start small, build your portfolio, and gradually increase your rates as you gain experience. It doesn't require any special equipment beyond a computer and an internet connection. And you can do it in your spare time. It's a good way to test the waters of freelancing and see if it's a good fit for you. What do you think of that as a starting point?
Yes, man, that was so much amazing explanation. I already asked you that it was a good explanation. So, wait, Maya, I have a net issue. Okay, so now it is on. So, can you tell us, like, should you start alone or with a partner?
The solo versus partner question. Classic dilemma. There are pros and cons to both. Starting alone gives you complete control and allows you to move at your own pace. You don't have to share or compromise on decisions. However, it can also be isolating and overwhelming, especially if you're juggling a full-time job or other commitments. Starting with partner can bring complementary skills, shared workload, and moral support. But it also requires clear communication, shared vision, and a willingness to compromise. If you choose a partner, make sure you choose someone you trust, someone who shares your values, and someone whose skills complement your own. It's also a good idea to have a written agreement outlining roles, responsibilities, and profit sharing. Honestly, for a lot of people, starting solo and then bringing in help later as business grows is a good strategy. But ultimately, the best approach depends on your personality, your skills, and your goals. What's your gut telling you?
Okay, that's nice, man. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And man, can you tell us, like, how can you test a side hustle idea before fully committing it?
Okay, so you've got an idea. Great. But before you go all in, you need to test it. Don't spend a lot of money or time building nobody wants. First, talk to potential customers. Get feedback on your idea. Ask them if they would actually pay for it. Then, create a minimum viable product, or MVP. That's basically a stripped down version of your product or service that you can use to test the market. For example, if you're thinking of starting an online course, you could create a free webinar or a short ebook to gauge interest. If you're thinking of selling a physical product, you could create a prototype and get feedback from potential customers. Launch a simple landing page to email addresses and measure interest. Run a small ad campaign to see if people will click on your ads. The goal is to get real-world feedback as quickly and cheaply as possible. Don't pivot or even abandon your idea if the market isn't there. It's better to fail fast and learn from your mistakes than to waste time and money on something that's not going to work. Does that sound like a reasonable approach?
Yes, man, that's the reason why. And thank you so much man, for sharing that with us. And right now, can you tell us, like, how do you set a realistic short-term and long-term goals?
You're very welcome. I could give you something to work with. Okay, setting realistic goals. That's important for staying motivated and on track. For short-term goals, think next week, next month. Focus on small actionable steps. Things like reach out to 5 potential clients, or spend 2 hours creating content, or set up a basic website. These goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It's called SMART goals. For long-term goals, think 6 months, a year, 5 years. Think bigger, but still realistic. Things like generate 1,000 in monthly income, or build a loyal customer base, or launch a new product. Break those long-term goals down into smaller, short-term steps. And crucially, be flexible. Things will inevitably change, so be prepared to adjust your goals as needed. Regularly review your progress and celebrate your wins, no matter how small. About building momentum and staying focused on the big picture. Do you find that framework, SMART goals, and breaking down long-term visions?
Yes, man, I found this helpful and also helpful to set the realistic short-term and long-term goals. And now, Maya, can you tell us, like, how do you balance a side hustle with a full-time job?
Absolutely. It's a huge challenge, and one. Balancing a side hustle with a full-time job requires serious discipline and time management. First, you need need to be realistic about how much time you have available. Don't overcommit yourself. Schedule dedicated blocks of time for your side hustle and treat those blocks as non negotiable. Even if it's just 30 minutes a day. Prioritize tasks. Focus on the most important things first, and don't cut down busy work. Learn to say no to things that don't align with your goals. Automate as much as possible. Use tools and software to streamline your workflow. And, most importantly, take care of yourself. Get enough sleep, eat healthy, and exercise. Burnout is a real risk, and you need to prioritize your well-being. It's tough, no question. But it's doable with careful planning and consistent effort. Is there a aspect of that balancing act you'd like me to elaborate?
Yes, man, you're totally right. Your explanation totally makes sense, and I really enjoyed it. And now I have too much short time and I have so much questions. So right now, what new skills might someone need to learn for their side hustle and like scope, like skill that has scope nowadays? That is skill.
Okay, that's fair enough. Run for a bit, I understand. As for new skills, that depends a lot. Consistently valuable ones include digiting, SEO, social media, content creation. Basic design is useful, even if it's just for creating simple graphics for social media. Financial literacy, understanding budgeting, pricing, and taxes, and strong communication, both written and verbal. Product management skills are helpful too for staying organized on track. As for skills with scope, well, anything related to AI is huge right now. Understanding how to use AI tools for content creation, automation, or data analysis is a major advantage. So video editing and creation in video is becoming increasingly important for marketing and communication. Believe it or not, data analytics. Even basic data analysis skills can help you track progress, understand your customers, and make better decisions. Those are all pretty in demand right now. Anything jump out at you from that list?
Don't know my anything jump out to make me nervous. Because now my interview time is almost completed, so I'm last. Can you give what is your final piece of advice for anyone starting today? And it should be long and helpful advice. It should be in detail, please. And you have to speak on it for 2 minutes. So over to you for next 2 minutes. Then I will continue.
Okay, 2 minutes final advice. All right. Look, starting a side hustle is scary. It's easy to get caught up in self doubt, to worry about failure, to feel overwhelmed by everything you need to learn. But let me tell you something, that feeling is normal. Everyone feels it. Key is to not let it paralyze you. Start small. Seriously. Don't launch it. Be in barge. Don't try to empire overnight. Focus on taking one small bit at a time. Set a realistic goal for the week, and then focus on the goal. Don't get caught up comparing yourself to others. Everyone's journey is different. Focus on your own progress and celebrate your own wins. Embrace failure. It's inevitable. You will make mistakes. Things will go wrong. But failure, the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Learn from your mistakes. Adapt and keep moving. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There are tons of resources available online, and a lot of people who are willing to share their knowledge experience. Build a support system. Help with people who believe in you and encourage you. Finally, remember why you started. What's your plan? What's your purpose? Keep that in mind when things get tough, and let fuel your motivation. A
Maya,
side hustle isn't
your
more than just making extra money. It's about pursuing your passions, building your skills, and creating a life you love. So, go out, take a chance, and see what you can create. You might surprise yourself. That's my 2 cents anyway.
What
All right.
amazing advice, Maya. Your my skills, your advice gives so much motivation to me also, and I hope this all your armies will also give a good motivation because yes, you're totally right. That uh don't try to make build an empire in one night. You have to take small steps, and you have to, and don't compare yourself to others. Everyone's life is different. You have to celebrate your own actions. So small celebrations, and you just have to try, and learning sorry, failure is a part of life, part of learning. Just learn from failure and adopt them to make something better. So your advice was totally good, and Maya, thank you for sharing such clear and actionable advice. And today's discussion was proof that starting a side hustle isn't just about earning extra money. Isn't about creating opportunities, building skills, and designing a future you love. So, to our listeners, if you have been thinking about starting someone for your own, remember that the most of the important step is simply to begin. Start small, stay some consistent, and keep learning. We will see you in next episode of the Leaders Lounge. Until then, keep turning your ideas into action. Allah Hafiz, and in and as always, Pakistan Zindabad. Take care, all of you. Allah.